to stay dry. In these troubled conditions, Paul Tracy could complete his run for the ARS Championship. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. After 6 straight races on temporary road courses, the American Racing Series has moved to the park-like, well-manicured permanent facility here at Mid-Ohio. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee alongside Derek Daly. And Derek, although these cars have raced here before, this realistically is a new racetrack this year.
A very new look this year. The track has been completely resurfaced. It's now 40 feet wide all around. We no longer use the S's here, which means lap times are over 4 seconds a lap faster than ever before.
The world of motorsports is varied and diverse, but there's one common denominator, Mother Nature.
Some drivers say they like the rain. I don't know whether anybody ever likes the rain, but rain can be a great equalizer. Cars that are fast in the dry suddenly have problems in the rain, so we can see a very different look to the race at the end of it if this rain continues.
And the third member of the broadcast crew is Chris McClure.
In June in Milwaukee, Robbie Buell captured his first career ARS pole, but didn't even lead a lap of that event. Now here at Mid-Ohio, he has his second pole and a definite opportunity to pick up his first win. Good runs at Denver and Vancouver have turned his season around after a struggling midsummer, and certainly he has that opportunity here today. On his flank, the man has won 7 races in 1990. Paul Tracy, he can clinch the championship in this event if he finishes at 66 points ahead of Ted Prappis and Mark Smith. Those two men are in the second row.
Well, race fans as well as drivers contending with the rain here. Showers in the forecast. Only 61 degrees our temperature, high humidity, and gusting winds. Not a very good day for racing, but the rain will continue here at Mid-Ohio. In the point standings, Paul Tracy once again can clinch it here this afternoon. Ted Prappis is second, then the rookie Mark Smith, Robbie Buell, and P.J. Jones rounding out the top 5. Ominous clouds overhead as this field rolls away. 12 cars will take the green here at Mid-Ohio. And in row 1, it's Robbie Buell and Paul Tracy. Robbie Buell, his second pole of the year. He drives the copper and brass sails leading edge entry out of Grosse Pointe, Michigan. And outside row 1, the Sherwin-Williams STP Lanford Racing of Paul Tracy. The second row, Ted Prappis and Mark Smith. Ted Prappis now second in points in the Say No to Drugs entry out of California. And outside the rookie, who is third in points, the Evergreen Aviation of Mark Smith. The third row, Marty Roth and Robbie Groff. Marty Roth, the Canadian, the Avro Group entry. He was fourth at Denver. And outside row 3 is Robbie Groff, a rookie in the French's Condor Groff Motorsports entry. In the fourth row, a winner here last year, P.J. Jones in car 21, the American Racing Wheel Special from Rolling Hills, California. Outside row 4, Justin Bell, the SRI Hugo Boss entry. He was a fourth at Detroit. Row 5, Mike Snow and Roberto Quintanilla. Mike Snow from Denver in the Bradley Food Mart Special. And outside in the Transportation Quintanilla entry from Mexico City, Roberto Quintanilla. Row 6 on the inside, Tom Kristoff. Outside, Mark Rodriguez. Kristoff, the Lanford Group STP Racing entry from Toronto. And outside, Mark Rodriguez, the winner at Denver in the Goodwrench entry. Second pole position of the year for Robbie Buell. Derek Daly, these conditions are horrendous.
Terrible conditions. Very heavy rain right now before they take the green flag. It's very difficult for drivers in these conditions. The lead driver has a huge advantage because he sees clear road ahead of him. But everybody from their back must drive through this horrendous spray and rooster tails of spray thrown up by these wide tires. So let's see what happens to the green flag. Remember, Buell is on the inside, he's on the pole, but Tracy has been the master all year. He's on the outside.
And of course, this will be the racetrack in about 10 days where Paul Tracy will have his IndyCar test for True Sports.
We have been speaking about this. It is a reality. He will test for True Sports soon, but look, let's wait for the green flag.
They start on the backside of this race course where they have one long straightaway. There is the green flag. We are underway, and Robbie Buell grabs the lead. Now remember, he had the pole at Milwaukee, but did not lead the first lap. And look at this move on the inside. There goes Paul Tracy. He is in second.
Look at Buell. Got it sideways through turn 1, but he does maintain the lead. Tracy tries to go around the outside. Paul Tracy tries to get Robbie Buell. Oh,
there goes Ted Prappis. That may be the end of the championship aspirations for Prappas, although can he continue on? The ground is saturated. It's very easy to get stuck out there. Look at the mud spray up as he engages the clutch and tries to get back on this racetrack. Well, that could give Paul Tracy a big advantage in the championship run.
It has given him a big advantage as he tries to wrest that lead from Robbie Buell. But remember, Buell has a clear road. Look at the spray that Tracy must try and drive through. Look at Justin Bell. He's one of the casualties of this first lap.
Mark Smith now third and P.J. Jones up to fourth. There's the gap between first and second. And right now, will Paul Tracy be content to ride in second position?
It's not Paul Tracy's style to be content with second, but look at Buell. He gets on the outside. Buell got very squirrely coming through that hairpin. There's standing water in quite a lot of this racetrack, but Buell was very, very wide, and Tracy takes advantage and shoots down the inside. Look at Jones down the inside of Mark Smith.
There is Robbie Groff, a rookie with the new French's sponsorship, and you can see the visibility. They have a running light on there. You really can't even see it, Derek.
They do have a red light, which is to aid visibility, but look at the spray we have here. There's so much standing water on the racetrack. It's extremely difficult. Groff slides down the inside of Mark Smith. Mark Smith tries to go around the outside. Can he hold him off? Yes, he does. Groff does not make the pass.
And being on the outside of a turn on a track like this is not the spot to be. Well, there's the gap between first and second. A big rooster tail coming off of Paul Tracy's car as Robbie Buell rides in second position. It was a puddle that got Buell a bit sideways, allowing Paul Tracy to get that lead. Today's Central Ohio, Paul Tracy continues to lead. In road racing throughout the world, the race goes on, rain or shine, unfit conditions for the drivers and the fans here at Mid-Ohio, but the race continues. The STP Sherwin-Williams Buick Wildcat leading. That is Paul Tracy trying to clinch his first ever ARS championship, and you can see it, the trouble he has negotiating that left-hander because of the standing water.
You can see this car is trying at every opportunity to break away from Paul Tracy. As soon as he puts the power on, the wheels try to breakaway grip and just get away from him all the time. You see how gently he turns into the corners because it's very important to be very gentle with the power and the brake applications.
Well, the driver to watch right now is Ted Prappas. After spinning off on the first circuit, he is back to ninth position, but he still has a long way to go if he has any hope at the championship, because Ted Prappas could wrap it up here this afternoon. Let's go to Chris McClure in the pit area.
Justin Bell did get that second tow and has now returned to the pits. The screws swarming over the car, and they'll just have to diagnose the problem, if at all possible, and see if they can get him back into the competition. But obviously, a high finish, certainly the win, is long gone for this day.
Battle continues right now for sixth position between Marty Roth in car 25 and Roberto Quintanilla in car 64. And here comes Ted Prappas. Ted Prappas in the Senator Drugs PIG entry, car number 5, after spinning off on that opening circuit. And he has a good ride going for him right now. Had it not been for that first lap altercation, he may have been battling for the lead. Here he comes down looking to the inside of Marty Roth.
Prappas picking his way through the spray. You've got to be very careful. I'm not sure Roth even knows he's there because there's so much spray. Look at that spray. But Prappas comes down the inside. Now he comes up behind Quintanilla into the spray again. Look at that puddle he just drives through. Car gets unstable, but he tries to come down the inside. Under braking, slides very, very carefully down the inside. Now this is the keyhole, which is turn 2, and then onto this long back stretch.
Let's go back to the pit area now and Chris McClure.
They figured it out on Justin Bell's car. It just did a moment ago. Refire. Now the cowling is being put back in place, and he'll be off and running into the competition, but several laps down.
Obviously indicating he's having some trouble with the radio as he points to the helmet.
9 times out of 10, you have electrical trouble, and I think that's probably what Justin Bell had. But Tracy, 7 wins this season, which is an ARS record. This Sherwin-Williams entry has been so dominant, and now Tracy's showing just how good he is in the rain as well as the dry.
Well, Derek, earlier you mentioned how delicate these drivers have to be with the throttle. Let's listen now to Paul Tracy.
You heard the wheel spin there. Just listen to his down changing. See how he lets the car drift into the corner. Again, we hear Tracy drift gently, delicately into this carousel.
Here's the battle for 5th position. The rookie Mark Smith, the Evergreen Aviation number 12, now being challenged for that position by the PIG entry of Ted Prappas. Prappas still coming through traffic from the back of the pack. He is on the inside. And look at that slip right there, Derek.
Prappas absolutely has his hands full when he puts the power on. That's what we spoke about with Tracy. Very gentle, delicate applications. A little bit of too much power. The car breaks away. But Smith took the outside line as he tries to drive through that spray. But Prappas is down the inside.
Well, of course, up in front, you can be very gentle with your driving characteristics, but not so for Ted Prappas. Once he spun off in the first lap, he had to go to a different strategy, and that was charge.
He knows the championship could be lost here. All hopes if he does not win this race. So he has got to give it his all. Now he is in 5th place.
And I would have to wonder what type of competition we'd have at the front of the pack had Ted Prappas not spun off on that opening lap. So Prappas now up to 5th position. And there is 3rd place, P.J. Jones. He won here last year. He is coasting to a stop in the American Racing Wheels. And that battle for 5th and 6th is now a battle for 4th and 5th.
Disappointing day for Jones. He was so successful and had such a good run. But Marty Roth, he is in trouble after a good qualifying run. He qualified 5th.
Prappas in 4th. Now set sail for Robbie Groff, who rides in 3rd position. 2nd is Robbie Buell. Starts in the pole position. Best finish this season, a pair of 2nd places.
Notice the outside line that Buell takes through that keyhole turn. Tracy still leads, but drivers vary on their lines that they like to take on these wet conditions. Sometimes the inside's better, sometimes the out is better.
Well, we can see the kart safety unit out to help P.J. Jones as Paul Tracy continues to lead here at Mid-Ohio. The American Racing Series presents the time capsule. We take you back 1 year to Mid-Ohio, a surprisingly strong qualifying effort for P.J. Jones, the American Racing Wheels entry. He starts alongside Tommy Byrne. Byrne in the championship chase leads over P.J. Jones, and this year's star of the ARS Series, Paul Tracy. Tommy Byrne, driving for the Lansford Group, now has the lead as early on contact between Benicio Sami and David Kudrave. Kudrave stalls the racetrack. Benicio slides around, engages the clutch, and waves goodbye. He is back underway. P.J. Jones with opposite lock coming off the corner. The American Racing Wheels entry number 21 has the lead. The reason the California's out in front is because Tommy Byrne has found the sand trap. Tommy Byrne in the hunt for the championship. Oh, this will be a setback here at Mid-Ohio. Mike Groff also in the championship chase. A 3-time winner so far this racing season. Now tries to run down P.J. Jones. He begins to close in. Paul Tracy rides back there in 3rd spot. The whole race comes down to this right here. Who can outmuscle who? P.J. Jones wins this turn and wins his first ever ARS event. But last year's winner is in trouble this year. Here's Chris.
A little bit of deja vu, gentlemen. We saw the same situation with Justin Bell a few moments ago. They removed the cowling, dried everything off, and were eventually able to refire the engine. Now P.J. Jones and his crew are doing essentially the same thing, cleaning out all the air intakes, changing the black box to see if they can also resume competition.
Well, Mother Nature playing havoc with the ignition systems, but I tell you what, these Buick engines put together by George Montgomery have been so reliable this racing season.
They really have. We have only seen one engine problem all season, so it's a credit to George in the preparation of these engines.
Robbie Buell riding in 2nd, slides off the racetrack. We can hear the fans' response over there in that corner. He gets back with the racing circuit, does not lose his position.
Did not lose the place. Now, one of the problems getting off the racetrack when it's so wet, you can get stuck in the mud so easily. So we saw Buell drop the gear as quickly as possible. He had wheel spin, managed to creep back out onto the racetrack before he lost his 2nd place. Tracy still leads here.
And of course, the lead is even bigger now. That margin widened out when 2nd place Robbie Buell slides off the racetrack, but he is back on. 3rd place is still Robbie Groff, and 4th, there's a look at 4th place, Ted Prappas, who started in the 2nd row, fell to the back of the pack after sliding off the race course on the 1st circuit, and he has come from the back of the pack to ride 4th.
Trying to close in on Robbie Groff. Robbie Groff still has that 3rd place, having a good run in the rain, but Prappas is closing down on him.
Ted Prapp is second in point standings with some hope for the championship, but he would have to win everything the rest of this season. Paul Tracy leads it, but Derek, I think Paul has backed off just a bit. He's negotiating traffic. There is Mark Rodriguez, and here comes Robbie Buell. Buell is closing in after sliding off the racetrack, but I think that's because your leader now is taking it so easy out there.
I think it is. Tracy has been so successful. He knows how to read traffic. If he has to back off in the rain, he does that. But Robbie Buell will see Tracy a lot closer now, so it gives him fire to put the boot down just a little bit more. Here's Robbie Groff, a very good, strong third place all afternoon.
And right behind Groff, here comes Ted Prappas. Prappas rides in fourth, and he is closing, so he could still be on the victory podium with a third-place finisher this afternoon.
This is the battle of the race right now. Prappas sees Groff, will have to drive through the spray. You see Groff right here comes down on a tight line, under braking, nice gentle maneuvering down the gear changes. And Prappas closing in every second. He is about to fill the mirrors of Robbie Groff.
Well, Derek, Ted's earlier mistake has forced his hand. He's had to change his strategy. He has to run a 10-10 right now on a track that may only be good enough for 8-10.
There's nothing he can do. That's the choice he gave himself by spinning. And look, he is catching Robbie Groff. He closes in every time they come to a corner.
Groff rides in third. His best finish at third there at Milwaukee. Another rookie in this ARS series. He is the younger brother of Mike Groff, who won the championship last year. Indeed, Ted Prappas out of Los Angeles now closing down that gap between third and fourth. There's a look at Robbie Groff. Where's Ted? Where is Prappas? Prappas is in trouble again. This time, serious damage to that race car. He'll not continue now. His championship chase is over.
Now Prappas is in big trouble. Broke that rear wing, stalled in the grass, in the rubber tire barriers. He may not get out.
Now let's go back to the pit area. Here's Chris McClure.
Lloyd Buckboy has seen his man Ted Prappas sideline, I assume, just because of the conditions.
Yeah, Ted was a man with a mission today. The PIG Say No to Drugs car has been running great all weekend. We've had some problems the last few races, and this time it looked like it was a driver error. He was going a bit too quick. You know, we were looking real good out there. They said he was the fastest one, so tried to hold it out, but couldn't do it.
Not as good as going down fighting, even though Paul was probably going to win the thing.
Yeah, we were hoping for a full course yellow, but we couldn't get it.
Well, there's a look at Ted Prappas. His say no obviously means say no to the championship this season. As we take a look again at Paul Tracy leading Robbie Buell, Robbie Groff, Mark Smith, and Roberto Quintanilla. Back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course here in Lexington, Ohio. The best battle right now shaping up for fifth position. Beto Quintanilla, the yellow and white number 64, and the number 22 of Tom Kristoff, a Mexican against the Canadian.
We've seen Tom Kristoff use up more front wings than anybody else in ARS this year, but he has the wings on right now. Kristoff having one of his better runs now, trying to make a pass on Quintanilla.
Looks to the inside, pulls alongside, may have this pass made, and he moves to fifth position. This would be well on his way to his best drive this season.
Remember, Tom Kristoff is the teammate of Paul Tracy. In fact, owns Lanford Racing, Canadian-based. Tom Kristoff is in the real estate business, but has come along a long way in his learning curve of the ARS series.
As we've said before in racing, it takes stick time, cockpit time. The more laps under the belt, the faster the driver can be. He's getting the laps over the past couple of seasons and showing his improvement. So Tom Kristoff has moved to fifth position. Roberto Quintanilla drops to sixth. Let's go back to the pit area and check in with Chris McClure.
Paul Tracy's crew chief, Burke Harrison, you talk to him each time around. Is he just conservative at the moment, maintain the space?
Yes, he just wants to know the split between him and Robbie Buell, make sure that Robbie, who is charging very hard right at the moment, doesn't get too close. I think we have some in reserve.
He's within himself at the moment.
Yes.
So right now, there's the gap between first and second, but as we alluded to earlier, it's only because Paul Tracy is taking it easy right now. He has the championship within his reach if he can take this checkered flag in first position.
Tracy is controlling the race, controlling the pace, and he's using Burke Harrison to help him do that. On the radio, he tells him where Buell is. Sometimes when you look in the mirrors, they're so dirty from racing in conditions like this. Oh, look at this.
Right with Mark Smith. And Mark has a fire, an oil fire on the left corner of that car.
Mark Smith lost it coming through the last turn onto the pit straight, backed it into the wall, and a fire erupted.
The leaders safely make it through that localized yellow as we can see the crew run over to talk with Mark Smith. We can see him moving around the cockpit. He is okay. He'll be climbing out momentarily as they try to extinguish this oil fire in the left corner of that race car. Mark Smith climbs out. This brings out a full course yellow, so the field will bunch up behind the pace car, and we'll take this chance to go back to the pit area, check in again with Chris McClure.
Robbie Buell had been picking up ground on Paul Tracy to begin with, but now the full course yellow, I think a break you might have been looking for, Mark White.
Well, not really, because he was catching Paul on his own about a half a second a lap right now, and he had a 40-plus second advantage over the third place, Robbie Groff. So actually what that does is that puts Groff back in contention with us. So actually we kind of liked it the way it was. It looked like we were catching him on our own, and we were going to give it a shot.
Well, the field bunches up behind the leader now under yellow. The crew continues to try to clear the track of the Evergreen Aviation entry. Let's go back to the pit area again, and here's Chris.
Walking along with Mark Smith, first of all, what happened in that corner?
I just spun and backed it into the wall.
Were you aware that the flames were there when you tried to pull away off the track?
No, just when I stopped again, I saw them in my rearview mirror, or in the side mirror.
So then you were able to shut it down?
Yeah.
One by one, the title aspirants fall by the wayside as the green flag flies. The waning laps here at Mid-Ohio, and this is the championship run for Paul Tracy.
Now Robbie Buell has closed right up on Tracy, and Robbie Groff is right behind Buell. So Buell has to watch Tracy as well as watch his mirrors.
So Paul Tracy looking ahead, talking to his crew chief, Burke Harrison, and Paul almost drives off the racetrack.
You think at this late stage of the race that he will be taking things a little bit conservatively, but right out of the green flag, we see Tracy take a really wide line around the keyhole.
We talk about drivers developing a rhythm. How much did he get out of that rhythm during that full course yellow?
In a situation when the leader has a full course yellow like that, he does not like it, but I think a professional driver like Tracy can easily calm himself down and get back in the required rhythm very quickly.
So Paul Tracy in the Sherwin-Williams STP Wildcat headed for victory, and look at this out in the mud. Robbie Groff is in big trouble.
Big trouble, but keeps those rear wheels spinning, because if he stops, he can easily get stuck in the mud. But Robbie Groff loses that third place.
Groff back on the racetrack as Tom Kristoff goes by, but here is your winner. A big salute. Paul Tracy takes the win and the championship this season in the American Racing Series.
It's been a long championship run for Tracy, but now he has it. He is the ARS champion.
The ARS championship in the rain at Mid-Ohio. Congratulations.
Thank you. Just hasn't sunk in. I got to thank the crew, Lanford Racing. They did it all for me. They did all the hard work all year, and I was doing the easy part, and we just did our thing all year, and we won today to wrap it up. I can't believe it.
That wasn't easy today. I mean, the crew deserves credit, but that was hard work.
Yeah, it was a tough race. I got by Robbie on the first lap, and then he kept the pressure there. He spun and then pulled it all the way back and kept the pressure. He did a great job, and I got to congratulate Mark White's crew and Ted Prappis for giving chase all year, and